people! Oh, I finally made it out of my cave, and I'm back in the studio. Oh, it's been far too long, but I'm back. It is I, Trini Werewolf, the one and only, and I finally have a break from work. Well, not an actual break, but a break in terms of stuff to do for work, so I can at least try and record something. It is most unfortunate that I have to record during actual werewolf hours. It is peak moonlight outside, but that's just how it is. It's also unfortunate because I tried to do this a lot earlier today, but as I was getting ready to start recording, I get a knock on my door and I'm told I have to go pick up food. So at least I've got a nice shrimp gyro with me to enjoy afterwards. So there's at least that. But anyway, it's also quite unfortunate that in my break, actually unfortunate that my break didn't coincide with the start of the test series against Australia. Still a few days away. But there's at least one other pretty good talking point into just West Indian cricket, and that's CPL. Because yesterday they would have announced the teams for this year's men's CPL. I'd imagine they would do the same with the women's team in the coming days or so. But I figured instead of just looking at the team and saying, oh, this team picked so and so, they're looking stink, horrendous, still come 7th or 8th, and say, oh, this team picked so and so, they'll win every single game. I think it'd be better to look at the teams from last year to this year, taking into account where they placed, and say, oh, this team struggled here, so this is the team they built now. Do I see them doing better this year? Those kind of things. So it's a good way to look at the trends of CPL, you could say, because there are quite a lot. Some probably more apparent than others. But yeah, I feel like it's just a much better point of discussion. So let's at least jump straight into it. Now, I think it's better to look at the team in terms of how they finished last year. And coming in, dead on arrival, once again, you've got St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. Yep, bottom of the barrel in 2023, somehow finished underneath the barrel in 2024. And this year, they would hope to avoid finishing dead last 3 years in a row. And just a brief overview. The team composition was just all over the place. Yes, they did have issues with, I believe, Raza and Tushar not showing up, or rather just being unavailable. Stubbs was there for, I think, a couple of games, didn't really perform, and then he had to leave either. I think it was both a South Africa event and then a series camp. So there was that. I think Kasaranga wasn't fit. I remember he started playing, I think, later in the season. Russo is literally 0 or 100. And then, yeah, just batting competition was just all over the place too. These two men were just up and down. Some days they were opening, some days they were batting 5, 6, and 7. The only consistent batter they had was Spice Man. I don't know if they at least kept consistency in having one captain with good old Spicy, but there was that. Lewis showed a lot more promise than, well, not promise. He performed way better than in last year versus 2023. Drake's was just in and out, didn't really contribute. Odin was just, yeah. This opens up a point for a whole next video. So I'll try and see if I can do something about that. Yeah. Other than that, is just yeah, composition, which is all over. Then how could I forget the issues with Shafin? All we knew at the time was that he had left the squad and wouldn't be available. We know now that it was because big owner man made a stink about how he had made a duck and didn't win them a game. So big up to Rutherford for flinging them away and going to our next team. But yeah, you'd imagine that Sinkis would want to try and fix Sinkis and want to fix all these issues that they had, and as you'd imagine, they did. But they made some massive ones. You're seeing this guy, and you're seeing this guy. This one probably not as big, but this one, big Bajan Jason Holder has forsaken his homeland and joined St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. And literally, like 2 days ago, I was talking to somebody about loyalty in CPL, and they said, "Oh, Holder's a star for not just a star. He's one of the icons for Barbados, and he'll never leave." But we were proven wrong just like 2 days after. Yeah, Alec is also a bit of a surprise as well, but it's more understandable because he's not established as a proper T20 player as yet. But there's at least that now. Looking in terms of their retentions, they've kept Myers, Evan Lewis, they kept Russo, Spiceman, Drakes, both Louise and Ashmead Ned. So pretty solid. But in terms of their overseas, they kept Russo, but he's also just vastly inconsistent. I like the next three. I'm quite surprised that TKR somehow let go of 18-year-old but somehow balding Salam Keel. Yeah, just the leg spin will probably mash up everybody. So they expect great numbers from him. Bosch is doing very well for South Africa. He's had a very solid IPL, so as just that proper all-rounder, he's making leaps and bounds. Farouk is also a very, very good one. I very like this pick. We saw what he could do in the World Cup. We saw what he did in the World Cup. And you expect him to do pretty much the same here. When you look at Afghanistan, you imagine more so the spinners like Rashid, Mujib, Gazanfa, and Waka, even though he's not in the Afghanistan side. But two very, very solid bowling options. Bosch as well. And also Mohamed Nawaz. I haven't seen much of him in recent time, for what I could remember. But I think the last few times, it's either he was doing a lot better with his batting, or it was much better with his bowling. Either one, he seems like a fairly solid option. I also want to take a chance, and then I also want to do a next video and looking at the players who were picked from Breakout League. Just his own separate point in terms of how Breakout League could help CPL going forward. But just off the top of my head here, very, very happy with BDC and Cooley. An issue I see with this team is that in terms of backups, it's just a massive drop off. I mean, if 58-year-old Spiceman pulls up with a bad knee, I'm pretty sure Boucher's the only other keeping option. And then in terms of all rounders, if something happens to Holder, you got Drakes, who's just been so in and out that like Drake's another weird one. Like the only cricket I've seen him play is ILT20, nothing, and then CPL, and then the cycle repeats. And he used to be in so many of these leagues, all over. Even some of the T10 leagues, but you just don't see him. So I don't know if it's injury or if there's just something up with him. I honestly don't know. But yeah, overall, it's looking like a much more solid team. If they get sorted out their batting, that will really help because their bowling is looking pretty solid as well, with Ned and Jeremiah Louis, I guess. Maybe more so Ashmead Ned, because I remember he was doing quite a lot towards the end of the season when they came down to Guyana. So there's that. But yeah, definitely looking like a much better team. In terms of how they'll finish, I mean, I would hope they wouldn't just come dead last again. But if they would qualify, I'm honestly not sure. But then, if they don't qualify, then they're just fifth, but you're still bad. That's the other problem with CPL because they're just 6 teams. You just have to. Well, I'll say that towards the end, but yeah, you can only move up from fifth, or move up from sixth rather to come fifth. But we'll see how it goes. It's definitely looking like a better squad, but they just had so much issues to fix that if they could address it, then you'd imagine that there will be a better squad. Yeah. Now, let's look at the team who was just above them. Antigua Bermuda Falcons, newcomers to CPL. But it's just all the Talawa players. I mean, you could see it right here. While they were also quite stinker, they were at least competitive in a lot of the games. I mean, yes, they had the issue of throwing away more games. Now, where was I? Yeah, I believe I was saying that. I mean, it is pretty much the Jamaica Talawa squad. But honestly, despite also being quite horrendous, they were at least competitive. I mean, they pulled off the 2 surprise wins against TKR, and then they managed to pull off another surprise win against St. Kitts, but that also St. Kitts throwing it away. I mean, Antigua did throw away a lot of games as well, I mean, I think they won like either 2 or 3. I think it's only won the one against them. But yeah, while they did throw away so many games, they could have very easily have qualified or at least been maybe. Actually, no, I think because of the table they probably would have qualified or stayed fifth, but at least a better record, maybe like 5-5. Yeah, but yeah, just so many games were thrown away. I wouldn't necessarily say it was an issue of squad construction, but then just some elements were lacking. I was very impressed with a lot of stuff Greaves did as an opener. I mean, he is struggling a bit in Test cricket, but he's done pretty well in some of the ODIs. We haven't really seen him in the T20 scene apart from here, but I really like what I see from him. Same thing with Kofi James. He's also done very well in the Breakout League, so there's that. But I mean, Ahmad was pretty good for them. Green was all right. So I think it was Omar Zai who got replaced by Billings. I mean, he was also decent, but not quite. Some issues with Amir Primus bowling. I think that ODI length over. It was horrendous. The Springer was solid. Fakar, I think, left as well. So that other issue with players leaving. I mean, Jewel was great in some of the games. I mean, it was like a great game and then like a big struggle, then a great game, and just that cycle. But I honestly don't know what happened to him because he was doing really well, and then he just didn't play. So I don't know if his man had homework to do, or if it's just that they said, "Oh, he's the emerging player, 5 games, flick him back to the bench." If it's that, then that just shows how stink CPL is. But if not, then I mean, man was doing so much better than some of the other players that I would like to have seen him at least be more there. But yeah, yeah. In terms of from last year to this year, I wouldn't say it was much problem with squad construction. But again, just so many games they could have easily won. But I am satisfied with some of the stuff they've done this year. But a lot of the players that I'm seeing here, I'm quite surprised they're in this team and not in another team. But I'll get to that when I reach that team. I mean, they kept the mad pretty solid. I'm surprised Shakib is here. I mean, another veteran you could say, but instead of a T20 side, yeah, he at least does have the best CPR rank. He's like 6 for 9 or like 6 for 6. I can't remember, but yeah, just he could very well just spin down most of the men here. Fabian as well. I want to see more of Fabian with the batter. I found it very nice to see that at least in the Sri Lanka League, they use him as a proper spinner. Like he'll be bowling 3-4 overs every game, and man will just be jumping up and winding and dancing on the place every time he got a wicket. So his bowling is at least there. His batting, I just want to see more of it. I mean, he at least batted a few times there, pulled off some. I want to see more than just a 2 or 3 ball cameo. Give me like a proper 10 overs not 10 overs. Whew. I mean, yeah, probably 10 overs. Send him up the order, see what happens. But like a proper finish and not just like a 1 or 2 ball thing. Naveen is also another very nice option. I believe it was Barbados last year. Yeah, another very solid Afghan bowler. So good to see what happens for him. Obed has also gotten flung away from Barbados. So that one was also surprising. I mean, he's played with injuries, so that could have been a part of it. But we'll have to see how that goes. Greaves, hoping to see more from him as an opener. Now, this guy, Bevan Jacobs, man is in, I think, all the MI teams. I know Mumbai picked him up, and then I think it was he got picked up by Mumbai, and then I think he just randomly showed up in ILT20 as a replacement. I think it was like barely announced, and then I think he showed up again. I think he showed up again at MLC. I don't know for sure, but yeah, he's just been in all the MI teams, and I'm honestly quite surprised he's not with TKR just because of the Pollard influence. But yeah, he's also very solid for New Zealand from what I've heard. Man was mashing up their Super Smash. So yeah, he could be a. It's good to see some of the younger players get a chance. Because when you look at Shakib, you can say, oh, great, or just a very solid or spinning all rounder, but you could probably get that from. But look at his age, you could probably get something similar from someone like Dunit Walalagi from last year. But I think most of the Asian players, some of them are out with Asia Cup, from what I've heard. That it might still be on, but you're still seeing plenty of them here. So that's still up in the air. But yeah, there are definitely some other options to look at. Like a long term options. But yeah, that besides the point. But you are also someone that I'm shocked is not with TKR, because you're star boy, big Trini boy. Why have they let you go? I mean, you're not set in the T20 scene as yet, but still, I found that very, very shocking. But yeah, Gazan, these three, you expect all of these three to be in TKR just because of the MI connection with Pollard. I think you haven't played much because you had like a massive injury, but yeah, they just have a lot more solid bowling options as you think about it too. I mean, everybody here bowls up until you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'm not sure what I'll tell you, just because 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 bowling options right away. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting squad so far. But you're the biggest surprise in two different ways, because it's very shocking that Barbados would let you go just because you're Jimbo. But on the other hand, you can understand why, given that you've had a not the best of seasons last year. Yes, with issue with injury, but you did bowl down. I said to the sides, if I remember. I think it was your main fight was against St. Kitts. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what you do here. It'll probably be like, I guess, Greaves and Jimbo. That could be interesting. Odin boy, I'm hoping that you don't just become someone who has just fallen off entirely. I think it's safe to say you're out of West Indies contention now. This might be one of your last chances to at least prove yourself, and that you're still quality for CPL. We can just hope and pray. Jewel, play at least every game, please. I know that's something I can't ask you, but I hope to see that. Springer's also has so much potential as an all-rounder that I want to see you be given a chance to bat. Maybe 6, possibly 7, I could consider. And I feel like the other option that would be really, really good is I just want to see you bowl. It might not be 4 over, but at least 3. Yeah. Django's also someone I'm also surprised is with TKR, just because. Well, you're also because you're a Trini, stink Trini, as some people would say. I'm looking at you. You know who you are. But yeah, not a solid option. And then 3 very good options from Breakout League. Karima, Kevin, Joshua James. I want to see you have another big role as well. Same with Springer. I feel like those two could be interchangeable in terms of all-rounders. I feel like Springer might be the better bowler of it, just from what I've seen. But yeah, 2 very, very solid options. I mean, okay, well, you finished 5th. How the squad is looking? Still a few iffy pieces. I wouldn't be surprised if... what's the saying, Kitts? Well, actually, not something like this. This side, I don't know if they'll qualify. I mean, they might stay 5th, but I don't think it'll be like a 3-7 or like a 28 like last year. I feel like they might at least either match or just not necessarily match, but at least come just close to qualifying. Maybe on net run rate too. Who knows? I mean, it's definitely on a better side, so there's at least that. I mean, no real star name you could say. I guess from these two, but they both retired. The West Indian contingent seems decent as well. I mean, they at least had a lot of their local players performing for them. So that's something you can at least count on. But yeah, it's definitely looking like a better squad. Yeah, both St. Kitts and Nevis, I think are looking better sides. But we'll just have to see how it goes, because they're going up against the teams who have ensured qualification last year, and who are known to just consistently qualify. And we are going into Trinbago Knight Riders. Whew. Yep. I had them fourth here because they were knocked out in the eliminator, so technically they would have been fourth. But yeah, just a very very just packed squad. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Look at this top row. Well, the top four basically. That stink Trini core. Well, this section here, these 6 players. You not anymore because you have retired. The champion has called his time. But yeah, a very very solid squad. A lot of it was carried by Puran because I know Narayan was I think out for a few games. Honestly, not many games were saved by Puran. A lot of it was just down to some of the teams just trying. But we at least saw a lot of promise. Pollard did a lot better. Russell was looking a lot better. Tim missed the previous year. Was back with them last year, and had done pretty well. Paris, I'm quite surprised. He wasn't like super stellar, but he's someone who I think benefited from Narayan not being available all the time. So he at least got chances about and did pretty well. Akil solid. Walker, I'm surprised I let go because a spin trio of Narayan, Akil, and Walker would have been just devastating. All them teams would just be fertilized in the field. Surprised they let you go. Name stay for you. You got like you got like I think you got the 5 games at the emerging player. Well, both of you, but I think you would have they both benefited from. Yeah, you know, Russell. I think Russell and Ryan were out a few games because of injury. So yeah, they get their chances. They at least you at least got enough credit to batter at 3 and fill that spot instead of just being flung down at 8 or 9, like a lot of these teams usually do. But you did solid. You also did pretty well, and then didn't play at all. I don't know what to say. Josh Little has just been very, very disappointing. I mean, he was doing so well for Ireland, and he just gone off. I mean, he's not performing as well in franchise leagues. Not performing well for Ireland is just real struggles. And then same thing with Jason Roy. I mean, okay, at the time this team was still captained by Big Phil, and it seemed like man just used Major League Cricket to look at options because Ali Khan's one of the other star players. I doubt they would have not picked him last year, and they did the same thing with Jason Roy. I mean, he wasn't stinking it up in 2024, but they still picked him. But the other year, 2023, Guptill I think played only 1 game, made a dock, and then didn't play the whole of Major League Cricket. Then came the CPL, made 100, and then stunk it up in the other games. Didn't even play the final. Do you know what happened? Yeah, just very very odd. It literally seemed like they were looking at who plays in all the other Knight Riders teams and think, okay, we'll just sprang them for TKR. It didn't really work out that well. I mean, they still qualified more so. Well, I don't want to say they still qualified because of that. Just because the problem with the 6 teams is you're always going to qualify because you have 2 teams who are just so down bad and horrendous. In this case, it's usually St. Kitts, but then you also had Antigua. So, I mean, quite literally, well, St. Kitts won only the 1 game, so they were stuck down there. Antigua won only 2 or 3. So it's very possible that TKR could have won just 3 games and still qualified, probably on a better run rate, or won 4 out of 10 games. So you don't even have to win in CPL. You just have to be slightly less bad to qualify. Yeah, the problem that you wouldn't have if you had maybe 8 teams, but yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, yeah, that Trini core was carrying them. The overseas weren't doing as much. Like, they're still doing enough, but not like as much as you expect. And to fix that, they've gotten some very very suspect options. That's the first word that comes to mind, because now DJ Bravo is on the coaching staff, and from what I've seen in Major League Cricket and from his time in ILT20, things on I'm very very concerned for this TKR side, because one of the big issues we saw was that Narayan didn't always open in ILT20, so they were stuck with chopping and changing openers again. Same thing with IPL, there were just very little consistency. And same with MLC, where you just picked all the players from there again. I mean, Hales is just a repeat of Jason Roy and Martin Guptill. Guptill stunk it up, came to CPL. Jason Roy stunk it up again, and then came to CPL and also stunk it up. And Hales is stinking it up so badly in MLC that they had to drop him. So now you're coming in with the two stinker opening options, and you just swapped one bag of British fertilizer for another. You've gone from Jason Roy to Alex Hales. Oh my goodness! But the others, all the top four retired, West Indian players. I mean, whew, it's so crazy to say that these top four are all pretty much retired. Russell, you could say, is effectively retired, but you. I mean, you're also stinking it up in MLC right now. I think you're averaging like 10, striking below 100, so that speaks for itself. But yeah, this row, it just I don't know what to say. This is just one big friendship thing that's arisen because of DJ Bravo, because well, Amir, you could just say, oh, solid power play bowler, they sprang him. But then you've gone through the trouble of flinging away Monroe because he didn't perform in that time, and then you're going to find a next option. Nothing happened the following year, and then you go back to him, most likely because of Bravo. You've gone with Usman Tariq, who I know from PSL is always under, not a fraud, but always under watch because of his bowling action. Where man will jog in, get ready to bowl, and then freeze, like his ping will drop, and then bowl. I still guarantee that CBL probably won't care enough to report him for suspect action. But you can imagine he still bamboozle a set of men. Some men will probably just try and charge him. He'll freeze and then bowl. Yeah, Ali Khan, I think, was just, he's just the loyalty picker. It only makes sense that DJ would pick DM. So man just picked his brother after being forsaken by West Indies cricketer. So there's that. I don't even know what to expect. I don't also know what to expect either. It's just all one big friendship thing. You, and you. I mean, I don't think Kara even got picked for anything last year. So I really don't know what to say. Just had to pick a local Trini man. Yep. I mean, Kati is also doing very well. He's fantastic in ODIs right now. He would have had his. I think he's still struggling in tests. But I think into the T20s, he's at least shown a lot more promise. I think he compared from, but he had promise in like the two games he would have played in 2023 and 2024. He looked a lot better. He was still up and down, where sometimes he would bat higher up, sometimes he would be pushed down. But he at least did solid in some of those times, so there's at least that. Hines as all-rounder, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to say. But at least in terms of breakout league player options, Nathan Edwards is someone who I have stocks in now. I've learned that from Mr. Marshall St. Patrick Hewitt. But also from what I've seen on my own, very, very solid. Good breakout league. You also pretty solid. I'm surprised St. Kitts let you go. I mean, I think you only played. I think that's how you played was when they won. Like, I don't think you played anything in 23 or 24. But yeah. Honestly, these top four could carry them for qualification. They usually do. If they don't qualify, I will be most shocked. But I mean, well, they came third and got knocked out, so it was effectively fourth. I mean, they could very just go top two. I mean, Amir, these two could probably just bowl on a set of men. It's only set up like a squad where I don't know what to expect. I mean, we saw a similar looking squad in 22 and they came dead last. So for all we know, I mean, you're doing pretty well in MLC. You're still looking iffy. I think you haven't played any other game because you're also kind of injured, some issues. I don't even think you got picked for anything. You're Yeah, I'm at a loss for words with this TKR side, just because I really don't know what to expect from some of these players. Some of them are just so up and down that they could all just blaze it on their day or just fart across the entire season. But that's still to say that they'll qualify just because of how CPL is. Yeah. But then the other issue is, in terms of long-term options, who do you have? You're all in your 60s, you're in your 70s, 80s. When you all retire or you can't make a next season, you'll be out of 1, 2, 3, 4 players. Like I don't think they'll pick you, either of you, for the next season. And when you all retire, because you're struggling more with injuries, that's really it. I think you're also nearing your 50s. Same with you, I think. So they just that's it. This team might really just be Puran and Akil. And then I guess Ali Khan, I guess, just cause, but yeah. So very serious problems for TKR down the road. But some of it is of their own doing, which is just to say that that's just CPL. That's really it. Yep. Unfortunate, but we move. Okay. Let's see what Barbados had to. Let's see what Barbados will have to offer this year. But from 2024, I know they had mentioned us this will be a South Africa series, so I know Miller wouldn't be there. But back then, this squad was pretty solid in terms of bowling. You could say batting was still a bit iffy, especially because Jimbo was just in and out because of injury. Powell was a bit meh. Quinton had some very solid game, but was also meh. You can't feel to save your life, but you could help bowl down there. Yeah, you were with Barbados, yeah. You also did pretty well. So if you look at it, Barbados decided to fling away 1, 2, 3, 4, four big men. So when I saw that, I thought, okay, is it either all 4 of these players had issues with the Royals management, which may or may not be that likely, or is it that they just want to get rid of them? Which also seems fairly unlikely given how big some of these players are. But it's still, some of it was bewildering. Like I could see maybe just because you were in and out of injury. Same with you. Maybe you, but you could have been a player for the future, and then you just shocked me. But yeah, they were. It was looking such a good squad, but I know they won like a really bad run. I think towards the end, they also were guilty of throwing away a few games. But yeah, they also the other good thing I like about Barbados was that they always gave also the young players a chance. Like Naeem Young got a good few chances. I don't think Ramon played any. Neither Rivaldo, Clark, or Sealy, from what I can remember. But well, actually, no, I think I've contradicted myself. I think the only really person who was the youth men who were given chances were Naeem, Wickham, and Kadeem. I'm a little bit surprised that Kadeem did open in a lot of the games when Jimbo was out, because he does seem like that proper opening option going forward. But yeah, some decent options that they had, and going into this year, they have made quite a few surprising changes. Um, Antigua let go of King, and he came here, which is fine. I'm happy Rutherford was able to fling away himself from St. Kitts and join a team that'll probably give him a better chance. So I'm interested. I'm looking forward to see how these two will do. Quinton's retired, so it makes sense that he's there, not Miller. Mujib is another very, very good spin option. He also isn't the best fielder, but he's still solid, you could say, and he can at least contribute maybe a little bit more to bat. I have a lot of respect for Asmatullah. Very, very promising, or not promising, very, very, he's just a great all rounder for Afghanistan. So he couldn't make it last year, but let's see if he could make it this year and have an impact. Warkan's also another very interesting one, given that I think he came in towards the end of the last season but didn't play. Hopefully they'll give Kadeen that opening option, because it looks like it might be him and King. So there's that. Paris, I'm a bit surprised TKR didn't keep, but I'm also is also just because he was just in and out. Like, oh, we'll have Narayan back. Then we have other options. Versus the youth man, but hopefully he'll get a chance. But Kofi James, that's one I'm surprised that it was St. Kitts. Was it St. Kitts? No, it was Antigua that I didn't keep because man topped the run charts for Breakout League. So I'm very shocked they let him go. So it could very well be Kadeem and Kofi, or maybe King and Kofi and then Kadeem. Nope. I stopped myself. I was gonna combine their initials, but nope. I don't like where that's going. Pause. Pause. Rewind. Abort mission. No. Whew. That was a close one. I almost got myself demonetized. Whew. But yeah, Naeem Young. He's also very solid, you could say. Cause he won them, I think, a few games with the batter. I don't think he bowled as much, but he's someone else who has a lot of potential. Same with A-Team, Rivaldo Clark as well. But they also have some very, very solid breakout league options. Ramon Simmons is always there, but I don't see him playing as much. I know he's also had his injury woes, so let's see how they go. Now, in terms of how I think they'll go, Barbados will go. It's looking like us compared from last year. They at least had some better options because Miller did a lot for them. Same with Maharaj, more so bowling. I think his batting days are basically over. But looking at it here, I think batting wise they look a little better in some parts, but it's still the issue of can some of those spots be filled. Bowling wise is a bit more interesting. Just because you're seeing a lot less prominent options. Because who have you really got? You've got Mujib and Asmatullah if he shows up. Then you've got Warwick on maybe a little bit of Kofi and then just the rest. So not a major overseas presence in their bowling. But I feel like they got enough to work with. But I do think that could hold them back. So if they don't qualify, that's probably the reason why. Okay. Now we go on to the runners-up. Good old Guyana Amazon Warriors. Yep, this was it's a very interesting squad. It always is because, well, last year was more so interesting because they could not find an opener anywhere. Whew. I mean, it didn't cost them when they won it in 23, but last year was more pressure because they at least had Ayub to carry them to the trophy. This year, Pakistan told him no, and they were fighting up for somebody. So it was hope with nearly everybody under the sun opening alongside of him. Everybody except Nandu, who was the only other opener, who I think they have also for sick. And I know Gurbaz came in towards the end to at least start. But yeah, very similar to the squad that won him the trophy, but I think a lot of things held them back in some aspects. The big one for me was Azam Khan has fallen off completely. I mean, he's just way to batting. It seems like his days with Pakistan are over. Even with PSL, I think they also dropped him at some point. Yeah, things were just not. It was not looking as good for him, unfortunately. But they still have all their big stars. I mean, the only things that really cut them back was just they're just gonna find that opener. But yeah, they also got big man Tahir, who they can't let him go. They will never let that man go. What happened? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, he will never go. He'll probably make it to 50. He'll probably hit his own half century playing for Guyana. But that's just how it is. He'll probably continue bowling down men, bamboozling the lots. But that's just how it is in CPL. Yep, all the retired players could come here and shine up on everybody. But yeah, just going back to last year, I mean, this could have been an incredible opening pair. They could have devastated everybody, but it was unfortunate that we only had when we had Gurbaz. But yeah, now going into this year, I mean, first four you have to imagine it. Well, you do know that these first four will be locked in. Well, the majority of the top row. But honestly, everybody who was from there from last year, you could kind of guess they would be there. The only ones that really dropped were the people who didn't really get a chance or wouldn't be available. Again, a lot of it could just be down to people not being given clearance or the fact that Asia Cup may happen. So I guess some people who are picked here could very well end up making it because Asia Cup will just fall through because everyone's fighting up with each other, or they'll reach a consensus and have it, and they might get replaced. But we'll just have to see how that goes. But yeah, the Guyanese core. You're officially Guyanese now. You're close enough. Same thing with yeah, the big three Guyanese here, 4, 5, 5.5, and 6. But yeah, but Glenjamin, Mr. Glenjamin Phillips, you could be very very big here. Now I know you've opened for CPL in the past. I don't know if you'll be that the serious that opener. You probably still will be. But I'm interested to see what you could do because you could be a very very I'm trying to avoid saying promising because so many people have the potential. It could be a very solid all rounder for them. Moen again, an ex senior player. Shamar, yeah, we all know what he could do. Chemo had an incredible season when they won, and then got struck down by injury. And I thought he would really come back good last year, but he couldn't. I mean, a lot of it came down to I think he just looked so lost. I mean, there were times when I was doing really well at 4 and 5, batting in the middle and finishing for them, and then he would just come in at that finish and just swing. Nothing would happen. He barely bowled. I'm glad they at least kept him because I know when they got rid of Odin, he was barely batting. He was barely bowling. I thought they might do the same to Chemo, but they at least have faith in him. So hoping to see a comeback from him. Kept Pretorius. I don't know why. No disrespect, but I do find it very strange that and that's another problem with CPL. You have so many people who are being picked that have little to no cricket behind them in recent time, or even for the format to justify getting picked. But I mean, yeah, experience, I guess. I mean, I don't think you struck over 100 in I think the 3 or 4, or was it 2 or 3, however many games you played for Barbados last year. But we'll just see what happens. Hopefully, it's just as a backup option, and not a main starter. Because I know Guyana was fighting up with you last year. But we'll see. I do like what I've seen of Kimal Savory from Breakout League. Same thing with Kevlon and Quinton and Riyadh. So yeah, aren't all three of these Guyanese? Yeah, just adding more to that Guyanese core. How much is it? So it's really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're all Guyanese now. Not pretty much. But you, Hassan Khan, this is a good name. I really like this pick because this man was great in MLC last year. He's doing good in MLC this year. And I remember when he was with he had come in for Antigua. He didn't play all the games, but it was the game when there was the big controversy with Ahmad Wazim, and in that game, man was slapping Narayan and Walker for sixes and helped them win the game. So yeah, he's a very very good player. I'm surprised to have the Pakistan flag and not the USA flag because he has played for USA. So I find that a little strange. But yeah, so he technically should be an associate player. But yeah, hopefully that's just a typo there. But yeah, looking like a still pretty good squad. Again, same thing with TKR. They would likely qualify. Probably again top 2, given the potential to have. You have West Indies T20 captain now. A lot of solid bowling options. Hetty was horrendous in IPL, so he's not looking as good in MLC so far. But we'll just have to see how that goes. Yeah, but yeah, I'm feeling top three maybe, given that they still have a few options to look at. Already some options that they could pick, but I don't see as much. You still be having to put faith in Jediah Blades, who I think is ready for. He's performed well for his age group. I don't know if he's ready for this stage because we saw him thrown against I believe it was Bangladesh or England in one of those series, and man was getting slapped all over the place. So yeah, Kevlon also did very very well. Well, all three of these guys did pretty well, but I feel like Kevlon is the big one because I think he was only really given one chance last year, and it's like one of the dead rubber games. Well, technically not a dead rubber. But the game that if Guyana had lost by a big enough margin, they wouldn't have made it to top two. But yeah, that's really it. So yeah, I'm hoping to see some good stuff from him. A good comeback from you two, and then just consistency from the rest of you. So yeah, that's really it for Guyana. So we have our well, not semi-finals. We have our runners up here, and now we go to our finalists. Big up St. Lucia Kings with their maiden title. I mean, this was just a. I don't want to say it was as complete of a squad as you could get, because you got Stalwart, Faf, Alzari, and Chase. All these three, or rather these four, helped carry them. All of them were incredible. Jones was stink. He has been stink apart from that one USA game that carried him, and then he just managed to show up in the final. He's also looking stink in MLC, but you never know. I also like that they gave Akimo Geese that game time last year. It wasn't something, it wasn't as much stand up, but he was at least given that proper role. So good to see if he could develop that good game set. Carrie Pay was helping spin down men. I think TKR might regret letting him go. Shadrach was alright. He's someone I've also seen who just in and out. I mean, he sometimes he'll look really good. Sometimes he'll just be like, but yeah. Klassen didn't show up. I think he pulled out to the family reasons or something. But I know he wasn't available. I think that's when Tim Seifert came in and he was really good. Yeah, I really rate Tim now. He's come back really well. Because he was just out for a while, but he's done great for New Zealand. He's doing great for franchise cricket. So I feel like he'll be a good one. Johan Jeremiah, Campbell. I don't think most of them played. I know Banamanuka, Banuka Rajapaksa also did very good for them. But I mean, standard was Noor, 10-year-old spinner, mashing up everybody as expected. Ford's also doing very well. I mean so some of the games I've seen with Ford, I still don't know how this man was playing bigger Lanka Premier League games as batting at like 3 and 4 and making 50s. I don't think we'll see that in CPL, but you never know. Govaya is also pretty good. Visa, big Namibia man. Another person who you don't see anywhere else, who's well beyond their prime, but they could come to CPL and show up on everybody. But yeah, and going forward into this year, as defending champions, I must say they're looking pretty good. Now the big standout here is ideally here should be Faf du Plessis, but Faf has withdrawn from this season. It looks like he might be retiring from CPL because it was like a really emotional message. But I did hear some conflicting stuff about it because it sounded like he was prioritizing some stuff with family, so he wouldn't play. But it also like he'll still be in 100, which I think is clashing with CPL this year. So you basically got a lot of people who will probably a lot of people will probably be forsaking CPL to go to the 100, which kind of tells you where CPL is. But yeah. So no Faf. You'd imagine Chase might captain. I don't really see any other options really. Maybe Alzari. I mean, you got big test captain here. So yeah. I mean, Tim's back here. He's fallen off with all the MI teams as of late. So I'm surprised. I mean, TKR, he did well for TKR, but I'm still surprised he's come back to them, to St. Lucia. But he's doing a lot better now. He did great with RCB. So he could probably do great here again. These three, I mean, it's good that we're seeing less of you for West Indies, but you're still doing pretty well, I have to say, for CPL. So there's that. I want to see more good stuff from Tim and Chase. Shamdi's another good option. Again, he's someone you don't see as often anymore, but I guarantee you he can come to CPL and bash up all these men. Same thing with Visa. I mean, I think you're 90 now, but but yeah, that's another thing. Like there could probably be a very solid all rounder who could have been picked as like a long term option. But I mean, yes, there's still the loyalty aspect. But I mean, if you're like, you might only have like one good season left in you. I would at least pick someone who I could see going for the next 5 or 6 years. But yeah, speaking of, I thought you were New Zealand. I only thought Delano Portgator was New Zealand when I first saw it, but I was like, oh wait, don't remember you. You played for MI Cape Town. But you're someone I'm also surprised didn't go to TKR. I mean, there's a lot of players here who play for all the MI franchises, all the Knight Riders franchises that you think, oh, they'll probably get picked there. And TKR could have like a bomb squad of just all the players from all over the place and just make like a squad that if they don't win the title, it'll be a travesty. But I think it just goes to show it's just one big friendship thing where they're just picking all the people they know, regardless of if they're good or not. So I have to respect that. I don't think you played much, but I like that you've been picked. Forward, I hope I see more good stuff from you again. Aaron Jones, I'm a bit surprised he retained you. I mean, you did help win them the final, but you're not looking that good, my boy. So you might have to come good. Pear, Glenn, all y'all looking good. I want to see so much more from Shadrach. I've been let down a lot in Breakout League and Super 50 before and CPL as well. So I want to see more from you, please. And then the three of you, you've all done very well for Breakout League. I don't even think Akeem played anything, for what I could remember. So I'm gonna have to double check that. But yeah, hoping to see some good stuff from you as well. Honestly, I am not 100% in if this St. Lucia side could keep their trophy. I mean, no Faf is a big loss, and also no Noor. I honestly don't know if he will be in 100. He probably might be, so that's probably another issue. So losing your big captain and also losing player of the tournament last year and leading wicket taker will hurt. I don't know if Shamsi will fill that void, but we'll have to see. So honestly, I can say with certainty we probably will get a new champion. As it stands, who am I feeling? I honestly don't know. I really don't know with any of these teams. But I feel like I don't want to pick anybody because everybody in CPL has proven that they can impress and disappoint on their day. That's just the nature of CPL. But yeah, but I do feel like we will see a new champion. Okay, so those are the teams. But from the video, you can kind of guess how I feel about CPL. And there's no good way to say this, but CPL is just on a big downward decline. And I feel like the points table here will visualize it a lot better. Because that's like a 2023. This is when St. Kitts had come last. Just the one game when Guyana won. I mean, just look at this. I mean, the 2 draws, but then just horrendous. I mean, Jamaica qualified. They lost most of their games. So Jamaica could have literally won 3 out of 10 games, had a better run rate than -2 and still qualified. That just shows you the quality of CPL. You do, as I said, you do not have to perform well to qualify. You just have to have confidence in two people always performing bad. And then you see pretty much the same thing again last year. Even worse for St. Kitts because Lilies had no results. It was just all losses except that one. With like a slightly uphill, and then they fell down below the Super City. And then Antigua, I mean, two great games here. I haven't. Well, these were genuine upsets. This one I can't even really call it upset, just because of how much of a throwaway it was. But yeah, yeah. Then Barbados just stunk it up at the end, so they got qualified. Just we have seen 7 wins, 7 wins, 7 wins, and then 5-3-1. You would expect that with but only 6 teams that you would have to just horrendous to force everybody to qualify. But if you had 8 teams, it at least wouldn't be like this. You would have two people who who you might have one who's probably running away with it, and then a solid clash for 2 and 3, 3 and 4, and then a good clash for 4 and 5 to try and make it, without just knowing that this team will always come last. I just have to fight for 4th. But yeah, that's just how it is with CPL. So pretty much, when you look at CPL, what stands out to mind? One, it's not a competitive league. Two, you're getting more and more old players showing up and not performing and just denying any emerging talent a proper spot or being given the role that they usually do because they're being filled by that senior citizen. The clashing with other leagues, I mean, we saw it with Asia Cup is a big thing, so if that's there, it'll make sense. But you've seen people, a lot of people just aren't showing up anymore. Like CPL doesn't have that draw; they're just attracting all the old players. So it's usually the point where people would rather go and play 100-ball tournament that you can't even really consider T20 than play CPL. Yeah. So CPL is just going downhill. I mean, you're looking at all these teams, and I mean, okay, let's go back to it. You'll probably be gone by this season, but then you're seeing so much old people who are like, but the thing, they're old, but they're not old for CPL. Like I mean, you're seeing people who are still 37 and 38, and you'll see franchises go, oh, we can get another 3 or 4 years out of you, maybe 5. I mean, it's just, I mean, in the case of you probably saw Columbus play cricket before he went and discovered Trinidad. I mean, when you retire, it'll be nice to have you on the coaching staff, but it'll just spin options. It'll just be Moti, and then you have to find someone from somewhere else. I mean, I doubt it'll be Moen. Like that's not long term. With you, Quinton's fallen off after he retired. You'll have to invest in another keeper option. I don't even know who another keeper is here. I honestly don't know. I genuinely have no idea. I think it's Rivaldo Clark. But yeah, that's just a massive drop off in terms of quality, you could say. I mean, this side, all of these, okay, let's just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could have upwards of 7 people who could all retire or be forced out within a season, and you're just stuck having to build a squad with nobody, with no prominent talent, and no one to take over those roles successfully. Like, if Pollard and Russell can't make it, who here is your other big finisher? Hines? Carty, maybe? Not an all-rounder. I mean, okay, who's your other all-rounder here? I see nobody. Who's your other big spin man? Akil, but again, I still see nobody. Who are your opener options? Both of you are well over 100. Neither of you might make a next season. There's nobody there. There's no one to take over. I mean, I have gone to games where I have seen people literally asking who are some of these men playing for TKR, and while some of them are batting, announcement will just go, "Who's here to see Pura?" And you hear everybody jumping up and waving flag when it's Carty and at the time it was like Jason Roy batting because no one else knows, or more aptly, no one else cares. I mean, you're new, so you were just given what you have, but you probably won't last. You got options here and there, but nothing, no real like star potential. You could say. I guess maybe Seals if he comes good, but you got overseas, local ones apart from Jewel. So you got some people to build a squad around, but nothing to say that, oh, this could be like very threatening. And then I don't even know, man. This could just be more licks. Unless something seriously changes with Sinkits, they could very well end up still being in the bottom 5. Well, bottom 2 rather, or at least 5th or 6th. 5th is an improvement for them. That's what I'll give them. But yeah. Yeah, Spiceman probably can't make a next one. But they also have the issue of so much people who have fallen off from West Indies cricket and seen them with franchise cricket that they could just very well not get picked up by anything, and you'll see them in obscure leagues all over the place. But yeah, that's just the problem with CPL. Plain and simple. Do I think that genuinely Breakout League could help it? Yes, because I do think the good thing is that the rules were that at least if it was you had to pick 3 people from the Breakout League, and I think they have to play every game. I think that's what the rule was. But yeah, you imagine that they be given proper rule. There's still no rule that they're given a rule, so they could very well play every game. But some of these men could be batting 11 and field from mid on to mid off and not bowl. Like that's the same thing with the problem we have with the emerging player. People were not given a chance; they were just specialist fielders, and it could very well be the same thing again. So CPL needs to get this act together. Otherwise, you will have no local players to promote the league, and until the overseas players, you're losing out on drawing anyone big. So you might just end up being stuck with more people who only come to CPL because it's the only league that'll accept them, and you just be stuck with no one being to promote, no one to represent the league. Like when you think of CPL in 5 years, you probably won't be thinking of Pollard or Narayan or Russell. It might just be Puran and then ... And that is very, very worrying. But yeah, that was my CPR rant for the day. I'm gonna go see if I can put together some stuff for the Breakout League because I am impressed with some of the picks that they have. So we're gonna probably analyze it and see who I think could probably fill some of the rules going forward, and say, oh yeah, this would be someone that they could help. They can maybe build a squad around in the future, or who I think, if given that chance, could probably excel. So that should be a fun time. But as for now, that has been this episode of the Scoop Shot, and I shall see you all very soon. I know I haven't done much in terms of looking at some of the series we would have just had, especially the England series and the Ireland series. I'll try and see if I can get some time to do a WereWolf Hour. I might have to probably. I'm considering shifting it to Saturday. I mean, this time on Saturday I'm not home, but it'll at least give me a fixed time frame to kind of free myself up, because then a lot more Sundays where I might not be home, or I just have other stuff to do that that's higher priority. But we'll just see how that goes. So I thank you all for your time. I shall return to my cave and I shall enjoy my nice shrimp gyro. Adios.